Have you ever done something on a whim, something that was really out of character for you? Well, I have. And that was the time I quit my job and I moved to the south of France. I did not know why, and it didn't matter because my intuition was so compelling. I had to live here in France. And I thought once I got here, I would know the reason why. Well, that really wasn't the case. Now I'm 5 years into my journey, and I have some ideas of the reasons why I had to get here. And I'm going to share those with you in this video. Now, during this video, I'm going to share with you some footage of me driving around the French countryside. I've taken a few day trips this year, and I wanted to share the footage of me driving. And it'll be like you're riding along with me. So enjoy the scenery. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have already subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you have not yet, please consider doing so and clicking that notification bell, because what that does is that lets you know every time I upload a video about moving abroad, life in France, and finding the confidence and courage to live life on your terms. My name is Patricia Brooks, and as I said, I quit my job in 2018 and I moved to France because I had to. My intuition told me, get your butt to France, and so here I am. And I wanted to share in this video the reasons I think I had to get here, really illogical reasons I had to get here. And these were reasons that I had to figure out over the course of time, and I'm still figuring out some of those. In my book, Live a Bold Life, I have a chapter called Letting Go of Needing to Know. I think I want to just read the first paragraph to you so that you know what I'm talking about here. Day 8, letting go of needing to know. That's it. I'm going to stop trying to make sense of it. I'm going to stop trying to understand why I entirely randomly decided to up and move to France. I don't need to know why I picked Perpignan, a city unknown to me only 2 years earlier to live in. I'm going to stop racking my brain for the answer, an answer I thought would come as soon as I'd arrived, to put my rational mind back into alignment after having made a decision based on a gut feeling. So that is what I'm talking about here, this needing to know why I did this strange thing. All right. So you had this sense of the frustration I had, right? Moving abroad was not something that was in my realm of consciousness until it was. And when it was something that was all consuming and it drove me to get here. But then once I got here, I had these doubts and I needed to know why. Now, certainly there were some goals I had set for myself for when I got here. One of them was to become fluent in French. And I have done that, although I'm still trying to master the language. The other one was to write that second book, Live a Bold Life, that I just read an excerpt from. So while I had some goals, those weren't the underlying reasons that pushed me to do the unthinkable for me. And so I'm going to share 3 of the reasons that I have come up with over the course of the last 5 years. And see if you can relate to any of these. So I'm coming to the understanding that I needed a reset in my life. I had been working a corporate job in project management for about 20 years. And while project management was a career that suited me, it was starting to suit me less and less. I wasn't feeling fulfilled. I didn't feel appreciated or respected for the work that I did. And it was not fun. And so the last role I had, I was doing a really good job with it, but I could do it in my sleep. And as I said, I didn't feel appreciated. And that was something that I wanted to feel. So part of this needing to live in a foreign country had to do with taking a break from my work to figure out what my next move would be, what my next professional chapter would be. And I couldn't do that without making this move abroad. I had taken a program to become a certified professional coach. through IPEC. I learned about this career life coaching at a Project Management Institute dinner meeting. The speaker one night was a life coach, and she described exactly what she did. And I said, oh, I want to do what she's doing. That's what I meant to do. And this year that she came to speak at the dinner meeting was 2013. That was the year my mom was dying. And so after my mom died, I pursued going to this school, but it wasn't the right time. I was also starting a new job. I was dealing with my mom's affairs, so it wasn't the right time. So I put this on the shelf for a couple of years as I'm working my project management job, doing a good job, learning more and more about myself and going beyond what I thought was possible for me in a position that I really didn't like. And then one day, about 2 years in, I recognized that, I was still doing that thing that I didn't want to do anymore. And I had forgotten about this idea of becoming a life coach. So 2016, I went through the program, learned so much about myself. I even had a few clients. However, the clients I had to refer all three of them to a therapist because life coaching and therapy are very close, but they're different. And I wasn't trained, nor did I want to do therapy on them. And so I started to think, well, maybe coaching really isn't for me. Maybe I was mistaken. And so I did not build my coaching practice. So here it is, 2017. I've got this strong desire to move abroad. I hire a coach myself to get unstuck, move through some money blocks I had. And then I cleaned out my house. I applied for my visa. I did all that I needed to do. I said goodbye to my friends. I left my job. I got on a plane and I did all of that without needing to know. My intuition was just propelling me forward. And then a couple weeks in, I needed to know, right? Okay, here I am. Why don't I know why I am living here in France, where I don't know anybody, where I'm feeling isolated, lonely, feeling like maybe I made a big mistake? Why the hell was I in France? And so, this is part of the reason, was to have that break, that refresh, to understand what I wanted to do with my life. I had told everybody, when I get to France, I'm going to look for a job there, but I hadn't done that in 3 months' time. A former coworker asked me how my job search was going, and I had to admit that's not what I wanted to do. So for the first 2.5 years of my life here in France, I was on a sabbatical and I was not missing working, but I knew that I was going to have to figure out a way to make some money somehow. And the idea of coaching was still in the back of my mind. And having made this amazing move and feeling how good it felt to do something that I wasn't so sure I could do and to have some stability in doing it felt incredible. And I thought to myself, I'd really like to help single women who were just like me, who doubted their ability, were fearful, could use some encouragement and support in making the move to do it. Why not coach people like me? So that's the first reason I had to get here, so that I could see what my coaching niche would be and to add value that way. Had I stayed in the US, I don't know what I would be doing now, but I would certainly not be coaching women who want to move abroad, right? Because that would not have come onto my path, right? So that is reason number one. I needed to get here to have that reset so that I could see what my next professional path would be. Can you relate to taking a step forward without really knowing what the next steps would be, but somehow it all worked out? Give this video a thumbs up if you've had that experience. Okay? Now, the next reason is a reason that I thought about and I think realized pretty early on, maybe a year or 18 months into my stay here. And that was I needed to live my second childhood. My second childhood is the working title of my third book, which I've been thinking about writing and starting and stopping for a couple of years now. And what I mean by that, by living my second childhood, was that I needed to really unlearn some things, to see life through the eyes of a child, to have that childlike wonder and be curious and to learn how to learn again and to appreciate learning and new experiences. Because in my old life, I'd become jaded. Life was life. It was a known entity, right? It was feeling dull and lifeless, and things were just normal. I had lunch with a friend last week. She has an 18-month-old, and she said to me that on the mom groups on the internet, she said that all of the moms think their children are geniuses, including me, she said. And I had to agree with her. I said, absolutely, your daughter is a genius. And so are you, and so am I. And she looked at me for a minute and was a little bit puzzled. And then she shared with me the reason why she thought that her girl was a genius, because she can see how much she learns and absorbs and grows day in and day out. And I said to her, well, that's exactly what we are capable of, but we have been covered over with conditioning that doesn't necessarily foster our continued growth and learning in the way that a child is. And so that's what I mean when I say I needed to live my second childhood. I needed to shed some of that stuff that would allow me to see life through the eyes of a child, to have that childlike wonder, to enjoy living, to love life. Had I not made this move, I don't know, once again, what I would be doing, what my mental state would be. It was really a matter of personal growth and continued thriving in life. So that's reason number 2, to live my second childhood. Also, a goal from that reason is to write that third book so that you could understand the whole process that I'm talking about here. If that's something you'd be interested in reading, let me know in the comments. All right. Reason number 3 is about allowing the divine purpose of the universe to unfold. I read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle back in the early 2000s. When I first picked up the book, I couldn't get through the first couple of pages. It was something I couldn't read. But a year or so later, when I picked it up again, I devoured it. And at the beginning of the book is a quotation, and it goes something to the effect that we are all here to enable the divine purpose of the universe to unfold. That is how important we are. Back in the early 2000s, I thought, oh, what a wonderful affirmation, but I didn't fully understand it. So reason number 3 for me has to do with my being here to allow the divine purpose of the universe to unfold through my work here. I did not know what my next professional move would be, and so I had to take a break to figure that out. I had to live my life here in France a couple of years to find my niche. And now I have a program where I am helping women to figure out what their next moves are going to be and to build a belief in themselves that it's possible and possible for them to have the kind of life they want in their dream country. So in my program, I have group coaching calls, and on the calls, especially over the last several weeks, I have seen amazing transformations. I've seen women go from not believing in themselves to and in action to actually having a switch flipped on inside of them that lights them up and gets them from procrastinating into actually taking action they believe is going to get them to where they're going to be. And it will, right? To see that transformation is so inspiring, not only to the other women on the calls, but to me as well. And I gain as much, if not more, than the women in my program from these calls. And so to me, that speaks so much about allowing the divine purpose of the universe to unfold. Don't say this lightly, because while I might not be impacting millions of people, the women in my program do interact with other people. And as their light starts to shine and they engage with other people, they will be a light and an inspiration to others, right? And so there's that ripple effect that goes back to, I am here to allow the divine purpose of the universe to unfold. And had I not made this move to France, I don't know that I would have found this purpose, this calling that is allowing me to do that. That feels so right. That feels so good. So those are 3 reasons that I think my intuition was telling me you need to get to France, and didn't allow me to get stuck in, but why? Why do I need to move there? And I'm glad I listened, because like I said, I don't know what my life would look and feel like right now had I not followed its guidance. All right. So if you feel like you need to be living in a foreign country, that your intuition or your gut is compelling you to make the move, but you are stuck in why, if you feel like I've got to get there, but I don't know how to make it happen, let's have a conversation. I'm going to put a link to my calendar in the description so that you can schedule a time for us to talk. And we can see what's going on for you, where you are, where you want to be, what might be holding you back, and if working with me might help get you there. All right. Now, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe, and check out these other videos you might find informative as well. That is all I have for you today. I will see you again next time. Bye for now.